Welcome, everybody, back to the Geeks at the Nerd Table show. This is episode 35. We have the crew here. Me, Obi Mike Kenobi. Hello there. We have George.
Hey.
And we have Frankie. Love it.
It's True Frankie.
True Frankie.
Just a little less hair.
All right, guys. We're going to start off talking about the new Aquaman trailer. We just watched it. That was my second time seeing it. George's first time.
Indeed.
Second.
What did you think?
Go for it. You've seen it more than I.
I think it looks like it's going to be a complete standalone, so it's going to be good. I think that's the key now is like make these movies they could be in the greater universe, but don't have to rely on team up and be, the Avengers or the Justice League. Like, you know what I mean?
It's funny you say that. I've always felt DC lends itself to individual characters, where Marvel as a whole lends itself to teams.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And when they first started this, I'm going to go off on tangent, try not to, but when they first started this DC Extended Universe, they said it was going to be individual movies that eventually lead up to it. But going back, it looks like Aquaman 1 just with 10 times more of everything. Black Manta, somehow they made his suit even better than the first one.
Definitely.
It's a lot more. The first one looked great, and I was like, wow, that's Black Manta. And now it's like Black Manta from the comics.
Yeah.
He's a definitely top 3 favorite villain costumes for me of all time.
He just
Really?
likes
Top
like
3?
their...
Yeah.
Okay.
Doom, Manta, and give me some time to think about that. But Doom and Manta are like,
So it's
the
really only a top 2.
Top 2. Yeah, it's always top 2.
designs I can think of.
Yeah.
That's hard to replicate.
I mean, I've never seen Aquaman.
What did he say?
The trailer looks great. I think it looked like it was, like I said, it definitely looks like a standalone movie. We're getting more deep diving into his life as a father.
Huh? I see what you did there.
What did I do?
Deep
diving? I didn't even catch it. But yeah, I think it looks great. I actually kind of want to see the first one now just because of the second ones and that trailer. So I will be doing that.
I think you're going to have to see that first one.
Yes,
in order to understand his brother, why he's not there, like to understand the setup.
See,
for it.
Here's my gripe with DC though. They make amazing looking trailers. You know what I mean? They've always had really great looking trailers, but their movies never they never sat well with me. So that's why it was never one of those things like, oh yeah, I'm going to go watch Aquaman. You know what I mean? But I think, I'm going to give it a chance now that we got James Gunn in the helm. He's running the show now, so it's a possibility that this could be a good movie.
Well, is this a gun or is this
It's not
pre-gun?
a gun, but
no,
he
this is all
approved
James
it, though.
Wan.
He still approved it to go and be part of this universe. So I'm assuming it's good. Because if they were, ballsy enough to scratch Batwoman, you know what I mean? Then
I still say give it to us. You got nothing else coming out.
I mean,
next
at
year,
this point,
give it to us.
they might as well. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't, especially if this thing keeps going.
Let us decide.
I mean, at this point, what are you going to lose?
Right?
You already lost the money.
Would Flash lose $400 million?
That's crazy to me, man. I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, but that's also because they delayed. Like, they could have made that money if they released that immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a whole different situation than Batgirl. Like, Batgirl is...
They didn't even have a light
They
of day.
decided to not show it. It's done. It's sealed. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Mm-hmm.
They could drop it to
No.
streaming.
Legal
Not
action.
delivered. We didn't see it.
That's true. It's not delivered yet. But it is signed and sealed. Like, they could literally drop this on a streaming platform tomorrow.
I mean, you know what? And they won't. They won't.
No.
They won't.
No.
They're going to let us just be like, well, what if it was actually good? And we're going to have all these thoughts and theories and so on and so forth.
What hurts the most about Batgirl is they had the Batmobile in it, and they drove the thing.
They drove it.
They had the Batmobile moving.
The actors and actresses all saw it.
Yeah.
They did a rap party,
They had
watch
like a
party,
post-mortem
everything.
thing,
and
yeah.
they all said that it was fantastic and don't understand why it's not coming out.
They're like, hey, guys, we're going to show you the movie, but guess what? It's not getting released. So, hey.
All right, let's pull this back in here for a second. So, did you guys notice the trident that Ocean Master was carrying?
No, but
It's called the Black Trident.
Yeah.
And it glows green, kind of like kryptonite.
Oh.
So does that actually have a kryptonite like connection or?
Well, kryptonite in the Dawn of Justice did come from the ocean. It was a meteor that had crashed.
Interesting.
Now, whether this is connected and they scrapped that, I don't know. But
Interesting.
we'll see.
That's some deep lore there.
That is some deep
is-
stuff
that-
right now.
That is only something that a DC fanboy would know.
Well, here we go. Here's the next big question about DC fan lore here. In Adventure Comics issue 452, I believe I said it was.
I think you did.
Yeah, I think you did.
There is a match between Aquaman and Aqualad for the life of Aquababy.
Ooh.
Where Black Manta puts Aqua. You can't get it. Would it be better for
DC
How many
get better
Arthur
names.
Jr.?
How many Aqua do you have? Aquaman, Lad, and Baby. Do you
There's-
have Aqua Lady?
No,
like
her name's
Batman.
Dolphin.
Aqua Daddy?
No, her name's Dolphin.
Dolphin?
Yep.
Dolphin.
I'm looking you straight in the face.
I'm done. Never mind what I said. Not watching this movie now. I will laugh from the get-go.
So Black Manta kidnaps Arthur Jr. and puts him inside a bubble that slowly fills with air, and Aqualad and Aquaman have to fight to the death. Do you know what happens?
No, I'd never read it.
The sphere fills with air and Aquababy dies. He never comes back.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, that's just how it is in real life, man. When you go, you go.
Yeah, comic
Yeah.
books.
Man, some comic books know how to do it where like, yo, you died. No, you died. And some are just like, hey, we can sprinkle some magic into this and you'll be back to life in 2 episodes.
Or you never really died to begin with.
No, you just kind of like vanished into thin air for a second and then just like, poof, I'm back.
There's an old saying: you're either you're Bucky dead or Jason Todd dead, but they ended up bringing them
True.
people back too.
Yeah, they both came back.
How do they shoot themselves in the foot like that? Terrible.
Anyway, I'm excited, of course, about Aquaman. We'll see what happens. We had a nice little sprinkle of Amber Heard. Hopefully, they don't keep her in it too much.
She's probably got 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah,
5 minutes.
No, hope they.
She's making $10 off of this non-penalty.
Yeah,
She's gotta pay
they
back.
Probably just they're like, oh, we filmed it. We're gonna, yeah.
She got paid these court fees, so she's hoping for a bank. But no, it looks good. Hopefully we can go ahead and see it as a group. If we can get in one of those little premiere things, you know
Hopefully,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Little baby gorilla. Huh? Hey, buddy. Long time no see. We miss you.
Remember me.
We miss you. We miss you, buddy. We'll come back and pop into your show or your episode one of these days.
Baby gorilla.
Hell yeah!
There you
Yeah, buddy.
Mhm.
I think it's time we do an episode with him soon.
Definitely.
Right before the holidays.
Totally.
We should. All
Well,
right.
let's dibble this out there then. I just mentioned it to you guys. Maybe doing a retrospective of Blade. How about we watch it at Baby Gorilla?
Oh, Blade
Ooh,
Watch
yo.
Party?
Yeah.
Blade Watch Party
Watch
with
Party.
a full-on review right then and there.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm with it.
Some point in October.
Jose Jalapeno on the stick. If you're hearing this,
Hopefully we get in touch with you before we put this live.
no, you're gonna, you'll
This
see
is
this.
gonna be ambush.
You'll see it beforehand, and it'll be like, yo, so what about this Blade thing? But yeah, no, yeah, Aquaman 2.
Yeah, no, I'm down for it, of course.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, I mean, we don't got a whole lot to look forward to. Yeah.
No.
In theory,
Like you literally put this in the chat about talking about it, and I was like, oh, I forgot that even dropped.
that's the thing. They
like,
just drop it
the
because
the
they can't
PR
announce
has
it.
been
Well, what is
nothing.
it like?
There
big,
is no PR.
Big screen wise, it's Aquaman, Marvels,
Yeah, the Marvels still come
Marvels.
out in November.
and okay, so it's Marvels, Aquaman,
Eh?
and Joker 2 is sometime next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I actually
Oh,
look
yeah.
forward to that. The first Joker had me.
Yeah, that was
That
intense.
that movie's just it's intense.
that
and-
that soundtrack too, man.
They did. We're just going off on this, but we're gonna since we're doing it anyway. Joker 2 with Lady Gaga
It's
Yeah.
As Harley?
They are really talking
Lady
about
Gaga
it
as
being a
Harley.
musical.
as a musical, and I think that's a really cool touch because you got to think they're demented.
Bingo.
They're crazy. You know what I mean? So why not make it into a musical?
Yeah.
And then have one of the most influential singers of our time be Harley Quinn. Like this is gonna be great. I can't wait.
One thing we do have to talk about is Ahsoka.
That was
and talk about nostalgia and going to the past and digging up things that
we were digging.
were amazing.
We were digging. I mean, so we were able to do a quick little watch party. That was fun in a way until, we were all... I was hearing the lines early and I was like, no, I hear them before I actually see what's happening. Somebody forgot to turn their mic off. Not saying names. But anyway, I thought it was episode 5, man. Can we talk about episode 5?
Yeah,
Episode 5
start with episode 5.
Legendary.
That was
I think
trademark.
that's a benchmark that I don't think is going to be surpassed.
I don't believe so either. It's going to be hard for you to top that level of just nostalgia. The way that they took Clone Wars animation into live action. That transition was so smooth. There was like almost times where like I actually thought I was watching the Clone Wars in like some crazy hyper CGI and it was like really, really good. But that was really clean work.
One thing that
Someone most
pointed
of it
out,
is actually practical.
Yep.
People
that's
on
the crazy
there are
part.
like,
That's what I was gonna say.
it's all CGI, like all this. No, those armors are practical.
That
I didn't realize it was the first time we saw the clone army in real life.
Yeah.
Practically.
Yeah, practical.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. And we didn't get Tamura Morrison's face, but he was Captain frickin' Rex, guys.
Bingo.
Captain
Actually voiced
frickin'
it.
Rex voiced him. And then just
Voiced it
seeing-
and played in costume, as far as I understood.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, he still has the physique, man. No, not to sound a
Well,
little
you
weird.
saw him in Aquaman too.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in shape for a guy in his like what 50s now, late.
But I mean, that armor can hide a lot too.
Yeah,
so
but there's
you're fine.
There's a build type in that armor. Like you gotta remember that armor. If they're doing the costume,
Sleek.
it's very thin.
Oh,
You know
it
what I mean?
is,
It's so like he still fit into that. And then granted, yeah, he did have the little, little dress thingy on the end of it, like
That's
Rex
a
did.
combat dress, pal.
I'm sorry, I'm calling it a dress. It's either that or we got a clone kilt, whatever you want to call it.
clone kilt.
It's a clone kilt.
Clone kilt.
With my paldrons. All right, but he just fit the build. You know what I mean? And then just the movements. Come on. You know what I mean? Like he moved his entire body.
Yeah, in all honesty, that whole thing was only 30 minutes. It was only half of the episode.
I know.
Right? When it was finally over, I couldn't believe it. I was like, that felt like an entire thing. And then they did the stuff with Ahsoka, and that felt like an entire thing.
And can I give a huge shout out to what's her name? Greenblatt or something like that. The girl that played young Ahsoka.
Oh, yes.
So she played young Gamora in Marvel. And now she's playing young Ahsoka, and this girl's got a bright future ahead of her.
Yep.
Phenomenal job. She played the role really well, and then just the execution of the time. So she was able to take young Ahsoka in her clumsy Padawan phase, and then when we see her like whooping some serious tush on Mandalore, she's like whooping it on Mandalore.
When that smoke was coming in and you heard the cling, I was like, that's Beskar.
Yes. The freaking
so good.
Maldalorians. That looks so.
So I didn't get to watch it with you guys, and I'm really sad I didn't get to watch it with you guys.
Sorry,
but
you were there in spirit.
Yeah, I try. But just seeing that stuff, and again, like as soon as that like special cling came in, I was like, "That's Beskar. That has to be Beskar." And seeing the fall of Mandalore and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Even the whole like Anakin coming up from behind and be like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and Snip's just going, you weren't here. We parted ways.
Yep, right before
Like,
that was right before the
it was
Battle
just
of Coruscant.
perfect.
That was crazy. I mean, the work of the CGI, the costume, the effects. That episode was it was the best Star Wars that I've seen translate from animation to live action.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't think you could have done it any better than that. And I think just the story build on it with Anakin. I mean, let's talk Anakin here, because I think we've gotten proof that this man is now the father.
Yeah, I want to give a big kudos to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close. Like, I don't think there's an absolute like definitive thing that points to it, but I think we're that's like.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it
I
is,
think
man.
they're gonna
I think
leave it kind of.
people are literally debating on it, whether it's like in her head, just a dream vision kind of thing, made up by herself to get her to like stay alive, or if it's more of a Force thing. I'm going to say it's more of a Force thing. This is her Force vision she got. This is that showing the ability of people. Somebody said it. I forget what internet YouTuber put it out there, but was like that whole entire thing there could be possibly what happens when a Jedi that is almost ready to make that next step, like when they die, that's what happens. They end up meeting somebody. Think about that. You know, if Anakin dies, Vader dies, he meets Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan gives him that final training to like move past and become.
That was actually
the
just
next
put in a book,
Force.
and I really want to read that book. It's called Return of the Jedi from a Certain Point of View, where Anakin dies and he meets Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And it's a canon story. I haven't read it yet, though.
Which would be really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. I loved the hell out of all that.
Yes.
It was just brilliant, and a brilliant way of like training Ahsoka.
I agree.
And the
I
message.
love that it wasn't nailed down on exactly if it was the
Yeah.
like. It leaves it open for you can explore it more. They have a different way to get in, maybe. Who knows? They left it open, but yeah, seeing Anakin in there and seeing him turn on and off the dark side.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that
the
was-
thing
I
that
think
like
that goes
solidifies
back
kind
to
of
your theory,
that
the
whole
big
like
time.
father. You know,
So now, if we consider him to be the father, if this one's being the case, and we know Ahsoka is the daughter, so where are we getting the son?
I don't know.
I want to know if
It's
they're even going
interesting.
to pull that into the storyline, because now if you already have that dynamic between the father and the son with the Anakin and Ahsoka, then the balance is not complete.
Now, who would be the biggest dark side?
You know what I mean? And
Could it be Palpatine now that he is dead in episode? The
Well,
Rise
I
of
don't- I wouldn't even say that
you
because-
couldn't be Palpatine because the son is
I guess
at
it's gotta be-
least touches the light and at least understands a bit of the light,
And there
but
has to be, like,
chooses
a-
that dark.
there's a dynamic between the brother and the sister that is actually like they do still care about each other, but there is a little bit of a separation. There are some disagreements and so on and so forth. So we have to find somebody who is that parallel to Ahsoka.
who is the parallel to Ahsoka? Maul.
Oh, but he didn't train under Anakin. I feel like there has to be like almost like a Padawan master tree thing going on here, because that's what it feels like they're trying to bring. And I know a lot of people were saying
Then the
you know,
only way you could do that is Starkiller.
it would be Starkiller, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that's the only person.
That's
but
the
that's the
only
only
way
way
you
you'd
could
be able
do
to
it,
bring him
yeah.
into live action, though.
Interesting.
You bring him in as the counterpart of Anakin, or the Padawan of
Yeah.
Anakin, who is the counterpart of Ahsoka, who were both Padawans under the same master, but in different parallels. You know what I mean? Like light side, dark side.
Could we say that Sidious trained Vader, or Sidious trained Maul and Vader? So are they on a parallel like
Well,
that?
that would make Vader then. That would make Anakin the daughter. the daughter. the daughter, and well, I don't know. Maybe Palpatine is the grandfather.
Or
Okay.
the reality is, Anakin's not the father. He truly is the brother.
Yeah, that could work.
You know, and there has to be somebody else that is the father,
Obi-Wan.
because Anakin is clearly pushing into the dark side. Like, I mean, I want that poster, that shot. I want the split poster of walking into the
Boom,
smoke
boom.
Yep.
and the flash
Oh my
to
I
Vader.
feel like that's gonna be
Oh.
like one of those like picture changing.
Yeah.
Where,
Yes,
I want
yes,
that.
That'd be brilliant.
I'm down for that. If you find it, man, let me know. I will go in and I'll buy one too, because that
Yes.
poster, even if I can get two of them and they're just one before, one after the change, I'm like, I don't care. I'll do it.
oh,
Yeah, right.
That scene would be
You
so
get
good.
the Anakin up top, flip it, Vader on the bottom, reflection.
Or you get that the cool artwork that's in the triangle. So when you look from one direction,
Yes.
it's the one poster. You look from the other direction, it's the other one. Oh,
You know what? I can guarantee.
somebody just make it.
No,
Make it, send it to us. We'll pay you.
There was a guy at AmblerCon, or not AmblerCon, J1Con that had those portraits that were like split like that.
Dude, you see him all the flea market. There's a guy
All
in
flea
Peddler's
markets.
Village.
Somebody
that
has it.
Somebody's going to
We got to find it. If
Yeah.
you guys know anybody that has that poster, let us know. I will buy.
Do you remember the old Phantom Menace poster that was like young Annie walking in the desert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vader's
Shadow in the background?
Yeah. And it took us all forever to realize that it's Vader's
Yup,
shadow.
I remember seeing it. Was like pre-internet. I was like, wow, look at this. Star Wars Insider has this.
That's how you know Mike's a true Star Wars nerd.
Yup.
He quoted Star Wars Insider.
Yeah, I gave it all to my brother, Patrick. Thank you. He had a subscription for life.
That's a
Nice.
gift that will always be appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
I taught you Star Wars. My little brother is me like that. So like I wound up getting Star Wars Battlefront, the video game.
Yep.
And we played Battlefront. He's like 2 or 3 years old, and so he would go to my room and he'd be like, "Can we play Star Wars?" I'm like, "Oh, yes, kid, we can play some Star Wars."
Yes.
So like he'll come over to my house now. So it's like Battlefront 2 now. So he'd be like, "You still got Battlefront 2?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Why? He's like, "Let's go." I'm like, "Let's go." So.
A little old school.
Listen,
Battlefront.
you got to pass the torch, guys. Pass the torch to the young ones because guess what? They will carry that on. This is the beauty of Star Wars. Star Wars story will continue to live on for ages. Which brings me to episode 6. Thought it'd be a great segue.
There we go.
What line do we get from Hugh Yang when he's talking to Ahsoka on the ship?
A long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Far away. Guys, we got that line in a movie that we've been watching for the last 30-something years.
Wait. No, we got the answer to the question that nobody realized was a question.
Oh, continue.
Who's been narrating Star Wars this entire time?
Hugh Yang.
Hugh Yang.
Hugh Yang.
Oh, it's not 3PO anymore. Telling
No,
the Ewoks.
it's Hugh Yang.
It's Hugh Yang, and that's why I thought it was really cool because he's
Whoa.
telling. So like, there was a thing that I was watching the other day, and they were like, the fact that you took the line from something that was brought into us to see this other galaxy, in theory now is like we're in the shoes of Ahsoka and the Padawans, and Hugh Yang's been telling us the story from day one.
Mm-hmm.
What does he say about he's got 3 different stories to tell? And the first is...
3 ages.
Three
Three
ages.
ages, that's
3
what it is.
ages.
And then is it Ahsoka who says the first is the best?
And I thought that was so funny because she's like, "Oh, you're a prequel person. Okay, all right, cool." But that's awesome that they have 3 stories, and I love how they tied into 3 stories because guess what we have? We have 3 stories.
We do.
We have the original, we have the prequels, and we have the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like the fact that they teased us and played with our minds a little bit is fun. You know, it's a fun way to look at things because
No, wait. Let's be meta. If she's saying the first is the best, what does she mean?
The prequel.
The prequel?
No, the
or
first
she
trilogy.
mean the
You think the
originals?
The old
the original?
trilogy.
I thought it would.
Like,
see, here's the thing: we don't know.
Is this a meta like drop in there that Dave gave us?
I mean, at this point, it's how you want to perceive it. You know what I mean? The first could be the prequel because obviously that's the beginning of the story, or you can be how it dropped and it would be the original. So you can be playing on the original fans or the prequel fans super easy without even saying which one you prefer.
Oh, so true.
Okay,
So true.
here we go. The 3 of us. What's your favorite, George?
I'm a prequel guy.
Frank.
Originals.
I'm going to go originals, but I think low-key over the past 10 years, my favorite Star Wars movie has become Revenge of the Sith.
And I think
It's totally
that's
awesome.
why
Yeah.
my prequel.
Yeah.
So like I am originals because I burned so many of those VHSs. Yes, VHSs. Like I destroyed so many of them, and we bought so many director's cuts and all of that. But I also like Star Wars used to come out around May the 4th. My birthday is May 2nd. My birthday gift from my brother when the prequels came out every time was going to the movies with him to see the movie. So like handing it down.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
like
like that.
my brothers handed Star Wars down to me. Like I never saw the originals when they came out in theater, but I saw all the prequels in theater. I destroyed how many tapes? I don't know. of the
The fact that
originals.
you said tapes, bro.
Yeah.
He said VHS. Do y'all know what it is? Because I do.
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yup.
Remember that?
Hi-fi. You remember hi-fi?
Oh, Jesus, stop it. Stop
What
it.
was it, like forehead? Just say I do have a really nice VHS player now that I just got within the past like 6 months.
Wait, what?
I have a really nice VHS.
First of all, they still
player.
make them?
Yeah, there's like one company that makes
No. This was a used one.
Oh, okay. I was about to say,
And,
they're still
nice.
making
It
these
works
things?
great. And I've been like checking out the some of the Star Wars VHSs, and I have it's a hi-fi Return of the Jedi, and there's this whole like 10-minute intro on it that's lost to the world.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's like
Nice.
it was before the special edition was ever announced, and they're like, own Star Wars for the last time.
Yep.
That's so crazy, man, to see how far we've come for just a series that's been around for generations now. Like,
I was lucky enough. I remember going with my dad and brother to see the special editions when they got released at Franklin Mills Old Movie Theater.
Mm-hmm.
The one has a church now.
Yep.
Yep, that's where I
Holy
saw 'em.
smokes.
We'd stop at Farmore, pick up some candy, and my dad sneak it in, and we had a good time.
man.
I remember seeing those up in Bucks County at the old drive-in movie theater out there.
Oh, I never made it to that. Where
Yeah.
like Toys R Us was?
No, further out than that.
Mohawk?
No, by the one by Knox and Mixon.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Oh, you're all the way out there.
Yeah. We had a campground out there that we went to.
Nice.
So,
That-
I never
yeah.
made it to a drive-in.
Never been to either.
all the time we'd go.
They should bring that back.
That was like a
There is
Friday,
one. There's one. I
Saturday
think
night
it's
I think one
doubleheader
that-
drive-in.
yeah.
Ooh.
Mohagan.
Yeah.
It's up there.
There's
Yeah.
one out in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that
There's actually a couple in Jersey.
one. Yeah, I heard they're doing
like
that thing in
spread
Jersey,
out.
which
Yeah.
is interesting. Yeah, bring back the classics. Watch
They're
it in
gonna
your
have to
car.
in 2024.
It's
So
a whole different experience.
Yeah, no, it
taking
definitely
it
is.
taking it back to Ahsoka, episode 6. So much to chew on. We're gonna save what I felt was the biggest entrance ever for a little bit. Let's talk about Balin and how we found out he was General Balin.
General Balin.
General Balin. Yeah.
I want that.
So that's giving us more of a date on Balin. Like, he wasn't just a
Padawan.
Padawan. He was actually a general. Like,
Was it you guys I sent the picture to of there was a picture of like the kid who was like Master Cano or Master
Oh, yeah.
Master Skywalker.
Yeah.
What are we gonna
Well, we
do?
can
yeah,
debunk
nope,
that
it's not
he's
him.
yeah, we can debunk that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole general thing was interesting. And you know what's nuts though? Here's the thing, right? Balin obviously is up there in age, and we pretty much compared him to be around the same age as Ahsoka, because technically Ahsoka was considered a general as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she's
Was she?
Yes.
Did she ever
Yeah.
Yeah.
get
she
the
was-
rank of general?
Yes. Any Jedi was considered a general over top of some of the yeah.
I'm gonna argue
General
with you on that
Ahsoka.
one. I don't
And
think
they
they ever
didn't-
called her
Ahsoka
general.
had
They called
her own legion.
I know
too,
they
didn't
called her commander.
No, I thought she was considered a general.
They called her commander, but I don't think
She
they
stepped-
ever called her
in
general.
the Siege of Mandalore, she got into the general role, but then they gave Rex the role up from that. But
Yeah.
she was considered a general on that one.
Was she? Okay, interesting.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So she could be around that same age. You gonna check that out real quick? Dang it, Kev, you're not here again to go ahead and do our little Google stuff.
Googling.
The Googling.
Googling.
In the Jedi Order, she was a Jedi Padawan in the Republic military, and she had
She
had the rank of commander.
Oh.
Commander.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
that's what I thought. I thought they never gave her the rank of general because she
Oh,
wasn't a Jedi
got
Knight.
she got the same thing yet again. We can't give you the right of master. We can't give you the right of general.
I don't think she ever really wanted to be called
No.
general.
No, I mean, and you got to think
Either.
that fight on Mandalore was not anything that the Jedi actually approved of. They wound up doing that on their own
Yeah.
to help Bo-Katan out. And it just happened to be that Maul was there, and they needed somebody like Jedi worthy to go ahead and take on that. But all right, so I was dumped on that one. So she wasn't a general.
Nope, not a general. But that's okay.
That's okay.
It's
But
okay.
then, so now we go back to Balin, right?
That means Balin's a lot older.
I want to
Balin's
see
a lot
the
older.
Balin was a
story.
general.
Like I really
He's a
wanna
Jedi.
see
He's a
his-
full Jedi Knight then, and he's a general.
which means he escaped Order 66, having clones in his garrison or whatever.
Dang, I wonder what.
I want to see his story. That would be an interesting story.
Star Wars Legends.
Can we get?
Yep.
Listen, we have 2 more episodes. There's so much more details we can get out of his story.
Are we getting a season 2?
They haven't announced anything.
They haven't announced it, but I'm pretty sure it's like there's going to be a season 2.
A lot of these Disney Plus shows for Star Wars are really one and dones, which is kind of depressing because Ahsoka's been probably one of the best out of the generic Star Wars style TV shows where, we're getting Jedi and lightsabers and all that stuff. And on the opposite of that, we've gotten Andor, which is more of like a civilian style thing.
The thing with Andor was a good story that just happened to have Star Wars sprinkled in.
I think Andor was a war story.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it wasn't about the traditional good and evil Jedi Sith kind of thing. It was just, you have the Republic and you have the Empire. You have the actual war story going on, whereas the Ahsoka story and like just the original Skywalker saga has just always been about Jedi and Sith.
I think that's what I liked about Andor the most, was it felt new and different, which is at the end of episode 5 of Ahsoka, when she did get in that thing and they blasted off, I was left with a sense of what's next.
Yeah.
Like, what do we see next? And maybe I read into it too much. I'm going to ask you guys, when Hurang asked her, what are we going to do? And she said, I don't know, but it's a lot better than doing nothing. Was that a dig at the sequel trilogy?
I don't think it was a dig at the sequel trilogy. I think it was her optimistic way of looking at, like, we don't have a plan. Like, we're flying by the seat of our pants, and that's fine. But I also think that was like, so there's a lot of arguments out there, not arguments, discussions about what her final lesson was from Anakin.
Yes.
I think one of the things was like, yeah, her final lesson is definitely like to live or die, to decide, live or die. And in order to live, you have to want to live. You have to, you have to actually go that way. But I think it was also this, you don't know what's coming. You can't have a plan. You just have to go with it. Every scene that she was seeing was reinforcing that of like, hey, I'm teaching you to be a warrior now. You have to live, but you don't know what the plan is. You can't foresee the future. You just have to live. You have to decide to live and fight. But he keeps on saying, but you're more than that. I trained you to be a warrior, but you're more than that.
Oh, that did hit
That
hard.
was a nice line.
That hit hard, where he's like, I was trained to be a peacekeeper. I have to train you to be a warrior.
That was a deep line, man. Because there was definitely different times, when Anakin was starting out on his journey as a Jedi. I mean, there was no war going on. I mean, you had some stuff going on with the Trade Federation, and it was light, more diplomatic stuff.
I was going to say, that was more over taxes and squabbles like that.
Exactly. And then you went into a full-blown war, and that's a different age to grow up in. The mentality of everybody, whether you were a Jedi or just a regular civilian, your whole mentality of life has changed, and it was revolving around this war that was going on for years. We saw Anakin from teenage years to damn near adult, and he's been fighting that war. You know what I mean? And we saw the damage that it can do over time, you know what I mean? And the headspace that Anakin was in, tiptoeing back and forth between, dark side and light side. So it takes a toll on you, man.
I think that's even where, like, with Balin, we're seeing two sides of a coin here. The Ahsoka story and the Balin story. But Balin, we're not getting his full story of. And we're seeing this Balin says, like, we get a whole scene of, like, him reminiscing about the Order. Yeah. And his Padawan literally says, do you miss it? And he's like, I miss the idea of it, not the failure.
Exactly.
And I think that's what he's trying to fix. You know what I mean? He even said it, when you look at history, it repeats itself. The Jedi have this crazy prosperous time where they're the best things in sliced bread. You know what I mean? And then you go and then the Sith come back and they do this whole, it's always like a tipping the scale situation.
But look at the line he walks. Just saying that. Look at the line he walks in between the two. And would he be wanting to teach how to walk between the two?
I think he is. He's got Shin. Shin is literally the because she wasn't part of the order. So when we found out, he wound up finding her and seeing that she was force sensitive and took her in as a Padawan.
Well, we don't know that exactly yet.
No,
we don't.
He said it,
but he didn't really
she wasn't
explain much.
No, I mean, but obviously, like, hey, you see this kid.
Yeah.
She seems like she's force sensitive. Hey, I used to be part of the Jedi Order. Let me take you in. You know what I mean? That's really, he didn't say it directly. But I mean, because obviously she's not part of the order. She was nowhere in the order at all. So, and then he brought up that whole comment of like, you know, Bokon Jedi. Interesting, because now we have a reference. We have a word that puts Jedi that were trained outside of the order. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't know, how do you even describe that? I mean, like Bokon Jedi. Like,
well, the Bokon Jedi is somebody. Well, the really interesting thing, if you connect to, so there's a lot of Japanese symbolism in here. If you take the Bokon is a training tool to learn how to use a katana, to learn your strikes, to learn your combat, to learn everything before you actually move up to using a katana. Because once you use so lore for Japanese samurai is if you actually unsheath your blade, you are doing that to draw blood.
okay.
So a Bokon Jedi would essentially be a person that's training but never going to actually use that weapon yet.
Interesting.
You know?
Okay.
So that would be a symbolism there, where like they're not fully there to actually be using that weapon, but they're learning it with a Bokon, with the wooden swords, and we see that in earlier episodes. Sabine is training against Yu Yang with Bokon.
She is. Ooh, good catch. Look at you, Frankie. All right.
So let's dive one more thing into Balin here. When Balin says he thinks there's something here, something bigger, do you think it's what do you think he's talking about on the planet? Do you think it's like a Bendu type of thing?
Well, let's talk about Peridia for right now, right? So Peridia is, we find out that that's where the Purgle go to die.
Yeah.
All right, which is an interesting
That was
concept.
weird.
Because you have
Seeing all the bones.
Yeah, so like you see this ring around the planet, and it's not a ring like, you know, asteroids. It's bones. It's Purgle bones. Their bodies are decaying around this planet. But why do they retract there after they leave? What's the symbolism to this planet? And I think this planet is balanced in the light and the dark side of the Force. Obviously, we see the Night Sisters are present here. Night Sisters thrive in a place that's connected to the dark side of the Force, as we do with Dathomir, right? So they were there for a reason, right? But there's something else behind here. We have other indigenous species here, which, by the way, the little turtle things were so cute. I was like, "Oh, look, it's Franklin." But there's a light side of the Force, I feel like, on this planet as well.
I don't know if they're light side though.
No, I'm just. I feel like
there's like, if you dive deep into Legends, the extended universe, there's there's three main races that basically should never have a Jedi come from them because they're more connected to the dark than they are to the light. It's the Sith. Sith is a race.
It's a race, yep.
Yeah. Which are red and have like tendrils and things. So like you have those red like guys that are running around. It could be that like, hey, they're like the Sith, but not actually like the Sith. Yeah, we don't see their faces yet, so we'll see what they go with that. And then you have those little turtle things, but the way they look is kind of like a squid with eyes like out.
Yeah.
Which is one of the other races in Legends that is a dark side user.
There
and
is
is connected to the dark side.
Yeah.
And they actually fought the Sith, and so that would be a really interesting thing. You have the three major, the Night Sisters is the third. You have those three major Sith dark side users, races that are there.
I think I want to tiptoe into a little bit of the stuff that was like so there was a scene where they're on this pyramid, and this is going to tie into what you just asked, but there's runes. All right, there's runes on this pyramid style structure. These runes are the same runes that were in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, with the Zepho. So are we getting a tie to the Zepho, or are the Zepho present on this planet? Because I think the Zepho,
Or the Zephos the ones that built all these like mechanisms that are in these temples?
I have no idea. I mean, I played Fallen Order. I never played Survivor. I didn't get to that one yet, but they were, I feel like they were just an ancient civilization that was just, I guess they were jumping from like, I guess universe to universe at this point. But they were here before any of these other species were. But there's teachings from the Zepho that they have that predate anything of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Or the Sith in that matter. So I wonder if that has any ties to this planet. And that's why I said, is there like a whole thing of like, you know, light side and dark side, because Night Sister's there, but also the Zepho. And the Zepho weren't really one of those like races that were coming in as like, you know, the bad guys or anything like that. They were just kind of just there, you know what I mean? There's just, and they're just one with the Force, you know what I mean? They did have some kind of like Force powers and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like we may get some of that in there. I mean, we have the hieroglyphs there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's a nice tie-in.
That is a nice tie-in, but like in the end credits, we have a whole different language that nobody in Star Wars has seen before. So there's a lot of interesting things that are being tied in and nodded to. But at the same point, they're also creating way new things.
Yeah,
too.
I think this new universe is
I'm really
opening up a lot.
interested
I
to see
don't
what they're
think
doing.
Balin's going to come back. I think he's going to stay there.
And that would be why. I mean, you think that's how they would just finish off his story?
Or yeah, just kind of leave him out in
I
limbo.
think he's not going to survive.
Yeah, I hope he would, but I don't.
I think he ends up sacrificing himself.
For his
I feel
bad
like
one?
that. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. I'm liking that theory right now that something goes down, he ends up sacrificing himself for his Padawan. That's what flips his Padawan from thinking to ally herself with Thrawn and everybody, and she then flips and allies herself with Ezra and Sabine and Ahsoka and everything.
On that note, let's bring in our big organs here and get that theme music going. And man, the entrance of Thrawn.
That march.
Yeah.
That march was so sinister, and you knew he's like, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. I'm walking. They're all shouting my name. Yeah, call me Thrawn.
Even before that,
what an
you literally
entrance.
have the dramatic entrance of the starship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
With the
flying forward and dropping down on top of this temple.
It's just straight ominous. From the minute that you know he's on his way to when he gets there, it's just, I'm making myself known that I'm here. You know what I mean? And they did a great job. I love the march. He walks just like him. Obviously, we all know he did the voiceover for him for the show, which is amazing.
I'm
that we
glad
kept that.
it's the same. Like,
I love
I
it.
don't think I'd want another voice.
No, because
nothing is as calm and calculated and nonchalant almost.
Yeah,
as
like
he is.
super, super calm, but super, super scary just by the way, like his demeanor. Like, you know what I mean? He's super educated. We all know how his mind works. You know what I mean? Like, he's very into...
It's that hardcore calculation.
Yes.
He's calculating every single thing.
Yeah, and when you think he's not, he is. You know what I mean? Everything is detailed to the final decimal point. Like, this man is making sure that dots I, T's crossed, all that good stuff. But yeah, we got Thrawn, man. Woo!
I'm so glad they didn't wait for the last episode, because the little bit they had him sprinkled in the trailers that we got, like 6 months ago or whatever, I was like, that looks like it's the final shot of the final episode.
I hope not, but then that would have teased a whole nother season. At that
but
point.
I'm glad we're gonna have him for
I think that is one of the final shots of the...
3 episodes now, I guess, because we got 2 left.
2 left, and then we got
I
him
think
in the last
everything is in that universe.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see them make it back. I think it's going to be on the way.
I think
I don't know, man.
the ship that they took there, the round thing, is just big enough to put the Chimera in.
It was definitely built for that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely made for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Totally built for that.
So that entrance with those troopers and looking like he has a fully functional army with TIE fighters.
I wouldn't say. Well, so he definitely has. He definitely has his army, but let's talk about the army, right? The troopers.
Mm-hmm.
What is up with the troopers, guys? First of all, can we talk about his right-hand man, Enoch?
Yes.
Dude, that mask looks awesome.
Dude, full-on gladiator vibes.
Was not expecting that. Was not expecting
Comic-Con next year is going to be fantastic, and Star Wars Celebration next year is going to be fantastic of everybody in the next 6 months trying to recreate those troopers.
Yeah, dude, his face mask was so. He turns around and he's just like, I'm like, oh, hey, buddy. Was not expecting a gold mask there, but he's the right-hand man. He's running the ship, but to talk about the other troopers that are there, they look dead. They look dead, guys.
They look like something.
It didn't click in my head that they were dead first, but it looked like they had been through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as someone drifted in there that they were dead, I did start seeing the Red Harvest vibes of like the destroyed.
Yeah,
like, man, they could be dead.
And it goes back to what you were saying in one of the episodes when we were talking about Merrick, right? And how we were trying to figure out who Merrick was.
Yeah.
And you made a good point, like it might be the Night Sisters' magic, bringing back, a corpse from the dead, and that's why when Ahsoka slashed him, turned to dust.
Yeah.
That could be happening with the 3 Night Sisters that we have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With these troopers, because there's an alliance there. So
combat in the next episode is going to tell us so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Combat with them in the next episode will tell us so much.
And you got to think this is years later from that last episode of Rebels, or that you know what I mean. That this is not, hey, this is only a couple months later. No, this is years later. So obviously there's gonna be a lot of fatigued soldiers. Morale's gonna be really low. They're on a planet that they don't know about. So they're gonna take a lot of casualties. And I think one of the troopers said that. He was like, hey, we took a lot of casualties because they were trying to take 2 squads to go out with or to follow Sabine. And what's her name? Morgan goes, do you not want more? He's like, we've taken a lot of casualties here. We don't have enough to spare. So and I just feel like maybe there's something with that you can't send those guys out that are too far away from the Night Sisters.
And their point isn't even to like make sure it gets done. No, they're meant to be scavengers. Like they're meant to sit back, see who survives, and get rid of the rest.
Yeah.
If you survive, they're coming after you.
Yeah, I think the craziness of their suits being all worn and stuff like that. Like it could be just that they're just worn out. They've been there for so long and things starting to fall apart, and they're just like taking some magic tape.
They were already.
But then again, they have Night Sisters right
before
there.
they were taken out there. They were in a battle when they were whisked off into the other universe.
Agreed. Yeah.
So like they had to repair. So there's another Japanese tradition. I don't know the name of it, but it is to break things and then repair them with gold. And we totally get that. We see the gold cracks. Like all of their armor has these streaks of gold in them where they have repaired their armor and everything. So I think that's a legit question is like, and Thrawn even says, I'm going to need your magic once again.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And that's right before or after they start loading all those boxes that may be caskets.
Oh, they're caskets.
Yeah.
They definitely look like
I wasn't even
caskets.
thinking about that.
Yeah, they start bringing all those.
I saw the boxes. I didn't think
things.
it was like caskets. I was thinking that maybe it was like, just things that they wanted to finding. Because you know how Thrawn is. Thrawn is always finding art or anything symbolic to the planet and so on and so forth and just keeping it on hold.
Yeah, but they're all body shaped.
But why would you carry all these
Rectangular.
bodies back to another universe if they're dead already?
Because he's going to need reinforcements when he comes back.
Or it
If
has more
they-
to do
if
with the
the-
Night Sisters and
If
their
there's a
power.
blockade coming, when he pulls up to the regular universe and there's a blockade, there's going to be a battle.
He's going to be like, I'm shooting your torpedoes of coffins at you. I have all the ammunition I need.
Demoralize you.
You guys want to see a dead body here?
Zombie troopers.
Listen, and it's not far off because we've talked about that with what you said, the blue harvesting or something like that.
Red
Yeah.
Harvest.
The red harvest. So
Harvest.
zombie style troopers has been in the EU before.
Mhm.
And that's the first thing that caught my mind. I was like, oh man, are these like the zombie troopers? And then when I saw the Night Sisters there, I'm like, they could be brought back to life somehow. May not be how we thought in the original EU story, but like they could be brought back to life. Definitely.
I think so. I would definitely think they were all like brought back, and they're all like in that way, which has also made them loyal and made them into like this cult.
Yep.
You know, some of them may not be. Some of them
Might
you know,
be the original.
Like
I mean,
Enoch
Thrawn's still
may have
alive.
survived, and like he's his right hand man because the way he speaks is more like this warrior now.
My limited understanding of Enoch, what that is, was somebody in religion who made it into heaven without dying.
It was the Book of Enoch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a book that they never put into the canonical Bible.
Okay.
But yeah, it's essentially like a zombie story.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
So, and that's why
Yeah.
when his name was brought up, I'm like, oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Dave. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I did want to look into that a little bit more though to find out because when I did see that the name did ring a bell, and that's the first thing that popped in my mind.
Okay.
Catholic school kid in me was like, this sounds super familiar.
Now
Yep.
I had to look it up, and I
Mom's
ended up
tuition
seeing
paid.
like reels and stuff on it.
Yeah, I think my question is with the Night Sisters, are these Night Sisters from Peridia, or did they escape the execution of General Grievous, Count Dooku, and all that stuff when they fought and killed everybody on Dathomir?
Well, no, they would have to
I
be
think
from
they're
Primidia.
From Primidia.
Because, yeah, if they were all wiped
Remember,
out.
Night Sisters are not from our galaxy.
No, they're
Yeah.
definitely
They're
not.
not from the original
said,
galaxy.
They
They're
said as
from
much
there.
that they rode the
They
They
Purgle
traveled
out,
with the
yeah.
Purgle, so they figured
Yeah.
out how to use their hyperspace thingy.
Yeah.
But it was something that crossed my mind. I was like, maybe were they always in cahoots with Thrawn? You know what I mean? Where they were kind of like survivors and they were always on the ship and we just never saw them. But yeah, they seem to have a rich history in Peridia. So.
What is the time? Because it's still a little confusing to me. What is the time frame from when Rebels ends to where we're at now? Like, is it 10 years?
I couldn't even tell you, man.
I feel like it's like 10 years. It's close to that. It's
So-
like 10 years or so.
So a key note from
Because
this.
that ended. Rebels ended at the beginning of A New Hope.
Yes, A New Hope. No,
Okay.
not A New Hope. Because the ending credits and stuff like that was right at the end of... Because that's when we found out about Rex being in the Battle of Endor.
Endor, yeah.
So it actually was right before Return of the Jedi.
Okay. Okay.
But there was something that I was thinking about the other day, and remember in the Mando season when we saw the Purgle shadow, and you saw Grogu and he was looking, there was a nice little video that was showing that was saying that Grogu was sensing Ahsoka, and those were the Purgles that were getting transported to the other universe, and Baby Yoda was right there.
Oh.
And he
Wait, what season of Mando is that?
that would be I can't remember. It's definitely before season 3, or it was like either beginning of season 3 or something like that, because it was like early on in the season that we saw that, and it was like one of those kind of shocking things, like what the hell are we doing with Purgle? But then
Okay,
I was
that
thinking
would make
about
sense
that
because
would
this
make
is
sense.
all supposed to be tandem.
It's right.
So
it's-
then she interacts with Mando before all this goes down. This all goes down. Season 3 of Mando happens.
right, and we don't see
Yeah.
Ahsoka at all. And
Because that's also the other thing. Season 4 of Mando is supposed to be, or is said to be, the last season before
the big climactic movie.
the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's got to be, yeah. If you think about the Mando season 3, where that started, that has to be around 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would then, because here's the thing though, 10 to 15 years, the Battle of, where was Rey from?
Not Tatooine, but it looked like it.
No, another desert.
I forgot the
planet.
name of the planet.
Yeah.
But that battle was technically still at
Jakku.
That was
Jakku.
like Jakku, yeah.
So
that's right.
that was about
and that's like 30 years, isn't it?
No, that's the crazy part. Like I think that's only about a 20-year span.
Is it 20 years?
Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ben Solo was born a couple years after the Battle of Yavin, which would then put us about, like I said, 20-something years before we start getting into the sequel trilogy. So it's not a lot of time. So in theory, at this same point in time, the new Empire, what is it
First
called?
Order.
The First Order is actually being built. At the
Which
same
we get
point.
references.
We do, and
we
we
saw
get
that
references
in Mando.
exactly.
in Mando.
Yeah, so like there's it's a very small gap. It's a very small window that we're getting. So I would say 10 to 15 years between that little space.
Okay.
Which
My
means
brain
if
hurts.
they would have to literally wrap up all of this with Thrawn
Yes.
quickly
Yes.
in a time sense
Yes.
in order to actually keep the sequels, even though many of us don't want that to happen.
Well, this is the thing that's throwing me off too. So we get this whole new universe. It almost had me thinking, I'm like, well, is the unknown regions now considered this new universe?
No, I think the unknown
I think the
regions
unknown
are
is,
part
yeah.
of the
Because
old
then
universe.
that's making this
Yeah.
universe so crazy big.
Well, it's 2 universes.
Yeah, it's
And that's why I was thinking, like, because didn't they have to do a crazy hyperdrive thing to go to find Palpatine on that planet, right?
They needed the route because in the unknown, so that has always been true from like legends and everything. The
They needed a key.
unknown regions has this weird like makeup
it's like the
that
Bermuda
makes it
Triangle is.
super
Yeah.
hard to navigate through. So in order to actually get there, they need to basically have the map
right,
to
'cause
do it.
I didn't think they had any hyperspace lanes for that area. Is that right?
because it's not like an easy route to get in there.
Brain hurting.
They have to do like bounce around and everything.
All right, let's bounce this back to the last kind of big reveal of the episode 6, and that was finally seeing Ezra Bridger.
Moses?
Sure.
right? I totally thought that too. I was
I'm
like,
over
this
here like
is
my man's about
Space
to do
Moses.
a whole exodus, and he's just like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and set my people free. Yay!
Set my turtle people free.
Set my turtle people free. Yeah, Franklin. It's just, I don't know. I thought it was funny, but yeah, no, it's great that we finally saw Ezra, and of course he's just hanging up along the wall, like, hey, you know, like super nonchalant. I'm like, bro, you're about to see your best friend, bro.
With his like crazy blue eyes. I thought it was cool they brought that in.
Got a beard now.
Yes.
Got a
Yep.
beard, and that's how you know a lot of times passed because he's got a beard. He is old as flippers.
Yeah, old.
Old as flippers.
That definitely interesting. Like that whole like getting there to see him, you know, Sabine being, you know, mad at the wolf,
Yeah.
and then like the wolf like keeps on coming back, and eventually they find the rock people.
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
You know,
Did you guys notice the parallels between both universes though with the Raiders?
mm-hmm.
They were like Tusken Raiders.
That's what they sounded like.
They
Yeah.
said-
Samurai Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, they had the armor too. I thought it was really dope. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is nice. But I love how they was like, hey, in another universe far, far away, there's also another group of Tusken Raiders who are just samurai raiders.
But that's also another thing that kind of like points to them being like the Sith race, or like the origins of a Sith race.
Who are the Tusken Raiders?
The Red Raiders.
Oh, the Red Raiders?
You know,
Samurai
because they
Raiders.
look
The
very
Oakland
much
Raiders?
like they actually are fighting like that we get from the EU.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. And then they sounded just like them. That was kinda cool.
Yeah.
What else we had going on? Yeah, the little turtle guys had little. The
How
turtle,
about Sabine just being like, we're not going to talk about anything that happened or why I'm here.
Oh, actually, wait. Back it up a minute. When we initially see Thrawn, and the Night Sisters are like, "You have another person here." Oh wait, I sense Jedi.
Yeah.
that was
Like
interesting. 'Cause
that was
did you
so
make a point of
interesting.
that you were saying like did they
Did
feel
smell it
Baden,
from
or?
Balin or did they smell it
well,
on
somebody
her?
I forget who was. Yeah, but is it? But Balin, I feel like Balin has abandoned the Jedi. Like he's in between.
But that's the thing.
He's
though,
more of a dark Jedi than he is Jedi.
but doesn't change. The
And
fact
they
that
said
he was
specifically
trained.
her.
They did say specifically her, which was what I did.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, they meant her, but like when they said that Balin, like when he said General Balin Skull and of the Jedi Order, the Night Sisters looked at him like, you two? Damn.
Yeah.
Like,
So like he's hidden.
yeah.
If they can sense Jedi,
Yeah.
then he's hidden.
Yeah. He's definitely cut his connection off to the light side.
Light side, yeah.
essentially. But
So
yeah.
that's an interesting part there. And like that means that all of the theorizing that we've been doing with like Sabine and like how Hu Yang like teaches her or like everything
Was the push a push?
was the push a push? Was it legit? A force
Did Sabine
push.
push first?
Like, so does she actually? She actually has a connection then.
I don't
Like
think
you can feel Jedi in her. It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough to just. Cause I mean, it may be a little sprinkling, but we got to give her credit, man. She's doing the training. She's doing the training. She's a Jedi, man. What do they call it? A Boken?
A Boken. Yeah.
Boken Jedi.
Boken Jedi.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we got all of the entire Rebels cast finally in live action. I think this is going to be an interesting next 2 episodes for sure. 'Cause
Definitely.
now the time is ticking. Sabine's got to go ahead and figure out a way to get back home. We're going to probably get Ahsoka along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So then now Ahsoka is going to be able to talk to the Purgle and be like, hey, guys, take us back home.
But no, she can't. She said she can't really talk to him.
She did.
She did talk to him though.
So when
I
she
thought
had
she
the-
said
she
said
wound
she
up,
didn't
like-
know what they were doing. She just went with it.
She's went with it. But it's funny, her training, when we were talking about her training with Anakin, her training with Anakin obviously was like, there's nothing you can control, just it happens, right? And who was the really biggest character to kind of play that kind of role? It was like, I'm just gonna wing it. It was Anakin.
Anakin, totally.
Anakin was always the one that didn't have a game plan. He was just gonna be like,
jumping out of the
you know what I'm saying? Like he just
flying car.
flying car. He's like, yeah, all right, master. You know what I'm saying? So like Anakin was the freest person when it came to understanding what the Force was trying to tell him, because his body was instinctively just doing things. Where now Ahsoka, I think, has finally gotten that training to the point where she's like, yeah, I don't know where they're going. I'm hoping for the best that they are taking us to where they need to take them to. But she is communicating. She did Ezra is able to do that too. He's able to talk to the species just through the Force. So, either Ahsoka does it and they get their way back, or Ezra does it and gets his way back, which brings me to another thing. How much extra training did Ezra get while he was on this other planet? Did he wind up learning anything else? Did he become more in tune with the Force? Where's he at in his training now? Because he didn't finish it either.
I think totally. But I think he had to learn more.
I mean, if this
Who would
planet
he-
is,
who would he
either
learn
just-
from?
if this planet is
I
as
think there's
important as
something
it
out
is,
there.
Yeah, there's something here.
There's something out
So
there.
you think like a Bendu type thing is out there?
Bendu would be awesome to see in live action, by the way.
I don't think it's going to be the Bendu,
Yeah.
but I think you're going to have something that's similar.
There's something there.
There's something there.
I mean, if the Force is as present in the universes as they're saying, then there's something there that's going to be able to guide him. And here's the thing, guys. We know Ezra and Wolves, they have a very good tie. You know what I mean?
When they first pulled up on the planet, they showed like the castle, and there was the two like rat things there. I thought they were the wolves
I thought the same thing. I was like,
First of all, that thing was
dude,
ugly.
blatant wolves.
because it was just
Then
like,
the
it was just
close-up,
their
just like,
silhouette,
ugh.
and I was like, oh.
Another cool thing, though, and this is something that I just found out this morning. So, Balin's skull and Shinhati, right? In Norse mythology, you heard about that.
Yep.
The skull and Hati are two wolves that do you understand it a little bit more? I just heard it today, so I don't really know the whole thing.
So Skull is the white, the
black
wolf. Is the wolf that, well, it would be the white wolf, but they reversed him. So he should have properly the white wolf that chases the sun, so chases the light. And she should have the dark wolf that chases the moon.
Just based off
and
the names,
chases
yeah.
the dark, based off the mythology and the names. So they're kind of doing a flip on that, where like, he actually has the dark wolf, and then she has the lighter
light
wolf.
wolf, yeah.
When you see them together, so there's an interesting like, is that predicting? Is that foreshadowing? Is that little hint that Dave put in there for us to somebody find and go, he was Darth Vader. That's just Darth Father in German.
Well, that goes to my tie with Ezra, because Ezra having that connection with the Lothal wolves. What if the two names, there's a tie to those two with Ezra, and maybe they're looking for Ezra to put a stop to something.
Oof. We have 2 episodes to figure it out.
We have
guys.
2 episodes.
There's only 2 episodes.
We need another watch party.
Yup.
I say we save it for the season finale.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we get 1 episode this week, and then another
One episode
and
this
then
week,
another
and
week.
then the last one
Man, I
next
hope
week.
that
The
lasts
last
like 2 hours.
I need this to be a full-fledged movie. Can we get that in theaters too, and not have us wait last minute and try to get these tickets?
Could you imagine seeing
tell us
that in the
sooner.
theater?
The last
Those
episode.
people that saw that in the theater.
My God.
I hate you.
Yo, I heard so many good things. Like, people were just like, this was how it was supposed to be watched.
It's a cinema. Oh my God, that
way that
movie
was-
was so cinematic. that episode, the movie, was so cinematic.
It was a movie,
literally
sir.
shot like
It was
a movie.
it was a short film.
Yeah,
Dave
totally.
Filoni's indie film.
Yep, basically. This
Man,
whole series has been Dave Filoni's indie film.
phenomenal work, man. I mean,
And I don't know what's going to happen next. And that, with Star Wars, that is my favorite feeling, is I don't know what's going to happen next.
yeah, I think they really have us on our toes, because here's the thing: we have all the pieces. The pieces are there. All right, who's calling checkmate first?
Mm-hmm.
This is where we're at, guys. This is
Yeah.
the final 2 episodes of something that we've been looking forward to for the longest time.
But you know what? We know they lose.
Why'd you have to do that to me,
We
Frank?
know that.
Jesus Christmas.
Because it's not about who wins and who loses. It's about how they are getting there.
Okay, fair enough.
We know that they're going to lose this because Thrawn's going to get back to the universe. This has been planned.
Yeah.
In Mando and everything. Like you're seeing those ties. So Thrawn's going to get back there. It's the matter of how and what information do we get along the way?
I think we know the how. I think
we know the how, but like,
the
Yeah.
thing is now, what's his plan once he gets back? You know, what's going to happen? And here's the thing, right? We're going to have a mini war in between 2 wars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Again, we don't have a lot to play with because timing is very, very short. So we're going to have maybe, we have a couple other shows coming out that could be tying into this, and then hopefully a movie in 2026, I think he said.
Yeah, something like
So,
that. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of time leading up to this, but when you really boil it down to it, there's not much time in the Star Wars universe left before we get into the rise of the First Order.
That's just the thing. As they travel from a different universe, and maybe time gets a little timey-wimey,
Right, we don't know how
and
that.
they get put in after Rise of Skywalker. Is that possible?
I don't think so.
I
I
would,
don't think that this is going to end up being that timey-wimey.
dude, that would be
Because
a
if it was
scam.
that timey-wimey, then...
We stop saying timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey's a thing, bro.
Dude, you know what? We're going
I'm
to
not
be
even a
watching
Doctor
Doctor
fan.
Who soon. 60th anniversary. We're going to be watching Doctor Who because we have nothing else to watch.
But if they get dropped off after all of that, then it's wide open.
I don't think that's a possibility because if it is, then Ezra would be way older. Everybody would be way older.
But what if
That's
we're going
there.
with like Inception rules? Or not Inception, Interstellar rules.
Well, here's the thing, guys.
Yeah,
when
but you're going to have the same time travel from there to there. So it would have taken them way longer, and they've been there longer, and like it just is going to be one of those
Yeah,
things.
okay.
I mean, we don't know how old Ezra is. I mean, we obviously seen Thrawn get super old. I mean, he's not skinny anymore. Perks of live action.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, at least Thrawn's eating good.
Yeah,
Jeez.
right.
I mean, like, my man's stuffing it. There was so many jokes to there, but I was like, he's got the voice down, he's got the movement, but man, put on a little bit of weight. And somebody was like, well, leave Thrawn alone. He's like 70 years old now. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely on the older side now. And that's why I didn't make fun of, like, is it Lars Michelson? I forget which brother.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Lars
Yeah.
Michelson.
Maz was in.
He was in Rogue One. Yeah. So Lars looks, he looks older. So it works out. he's not as scrawny and uptight like he used to. He's a little bit older.
I mean, but there are like girdles in the prop department. Come on, man.
That's probably the
That
best they
coming
could do.
from me.
can you see Thrawn doing his march and he's like, "Damn, you got an hourglass figure, bro."
He's got that, heel toe foot in
I'm
front of
here
another
to
foot.
take out
walking
the
it,
pad.
strutting it.
Things are getting weird.
As he holds Thrawn walking and everybody's saying, "Thrawn, Thrawn," his hands on his hip the whole time. Oh, hello, mother. Oh, we have Sabine here. Don't I look good? I'm done.
Who are you?
On that note, I don't know what's next. I don't know where they're gonna land. I don't know how they're gonna thread this needle with the sequel trilogy and this happening and having this not mentioned at all in the sequel trilogy.
No, and that's the crazy part. That is the crazy part. Unless we get that later down the line with these other movies that they're making. Then we're like, do you remember the story of Thrawn? And it was like, where the hell did that come from? We weren't expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also going to be one of those things where like they can have this and it's probably not going to be a full like galactic war. He has one ship.
Unless he just like doesn't agree with what the First Order's doing and goes off and does his own thing.
I mean,
I think so.
That sounds
I think like he comes back, he's trying to take over, consolidating those forces that are out there, but clearly all those warlords are out for themselves.
What if he's like, you're building another Death Star? Really? Bye.
Did you not remember what happened last time?
It's like, yes, you keep on doing that, and I'm going to go fight the real war.
All right. On that note, guys, we good?
Yeah, I think we got everything off our chest for the Ahsoka episodes 5 and 6.
All right, let's take a minute, and we're gonna think of Larry and Kev because we wish you were here.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
First things first, the reason why Larry isn't here is because he's celebrating his birthday. So shout out to Larry. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday.
To Larry. I'm the only one singing.
You sound great. That's why we let you
Just let you go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Larry, bro. We wouldn't be able to do a lot of this without you. You're the cat for a reason, bro.
Yep.
Happy
birthday.
And then Frank, or not Frank, sorry. You're right here, buddy.
I'm here.
Kevin is actually hanging out with his family in Florida right now. So some of the G&T crews are just hanging out with the family. You got to make sure that the time is spent well. So, yeah, have fun in Florida, bro. We'll see you when you get back.
Yeah.
All right, G&T crew. This has been episode 35. See ya.
Deuces.